So hi and welcome to my first League of Legends commentary, and this time I'm playing Ashe, as you can see. Ashe is one of my favorite AD carries. Usually I don't really play AD carry a lot, but sometimes it's it's kind of fun to play AD carry again. I'm not that bad at AD carry, but basically what you have to learn on AD carries is to last hit. I mean, this sounds easier than it looks like. That's the reason why I always buy Doran's Blade at the beginning of the game, because that extra 10 extra attack damage can help you secure to kill the minions better. But I also have attack damage wounds, so that means that I have a little bit of extra armor penetration, a little bit of extra armor by myself, and of course extra attack damage and attack speed. Now, these things you need in the beginning of the game. Now, Ashe has a special passive. The passive is that it stacks, so every time if you do not shoot a minion, it stacks, stacks. And every time if you are at 100%, the next basic attack what Ashe will do does critical damage. So this kind of passive you can use versus in the beginning of the game, like at level 1. So your first attack, basic attack, will be on a champion, and you can do full crit damage. So it will be at around 150 or something like that. Ashe, its A slows the enemies, but every time if you shoot and it hits, it also consumes a little bit of mana, so you don't have to set it on every time. Now, its set is quite handy though in early game, because it shoots 5 arrows and it damages all the enemies that are in front of him. Now, you can avoid these arrows by walking between them, but this is very difficult though, and it can put out a lot of damage in the beginning of the game. Like you can see here, like 200 damage or something like that, but the problem is that you can't upgrade it in damage. So every time if you upgrade it, it stays at the same damage, but it will just get a shorter cooldown. Now, its E is very handy though. It's kind of a eel, and it explodes, and if it explodes, it will grant vision, and that vision will stay for around 5 seconds. So this can be pretty handy though for if you want to throw your ult. Now, talking about its ult is an arrow with, I think, has a 80 seconds cooldown or something like that. Doesn't have a big cooldown though, so you can use it most of the times, like it will be doing in 10 seconds. But its ult, you just throw it, and if it hits, it will not only do massive amount of damage, but it will also stunning the enemy. Now, this stun it depends on how your stun works. If you throw your arrow from a long distance, you will stun her shorter than if you throw it from a long distance. It will stun her longer if you throw it from a long distance. Then if you throw it from a shorter distance, it will stun shorter. If you throw it from a longer distance, it will stun her longer. Yeah. But also our build, mostly I go for lifesteal first. So you have the dex for lifesteal, so you don't have to go B all the time if you're getting hit a bit in bot line. And then I go with crit and attack speed. So usually my recommendations to you are around 60% or something like that crit, and a lot of attack speed. Ashe is a kind of AD carry that depends on attack speed, because her ability itself, they can do much damage in early game, but later on they are not that good anymore. Its ult though is very handy. You always need your ult, like I'm using here, to get the kill. You don't need it always, but you can use it. Usually I always throw it, because that they are stunned, they can't attack you, and you just have to auto attack them. With a lot of attack speed, you will be taking them out. Now, I'm also planning to do a trash review. Now, the trash review will be scripted, so it's more entertaining to watch, because I don't have to search for the English words all the time like I'm doing here. But the trash review will take a while to make though, I think around 2 weeks, because first of all I need clips. I have to have around 6 minutes of clips. Now this seems easier than it looks like. And secondly I need, I have to write it out because I have to do it scripted. Plus I also have to have gameplay where I show you how to use the combos. I mean, trash is pretty difficult though to use. It seems easy, but it's more difficult than you think, because you have to hit your hook, you have to know your passives. I mean, trash has more passives than you think, and how to play them. Now what I'm going to let you show there is how the abilities work, like I'm doing here, but also how to play them better, what your combos are, the dances, not the skins, because I do not have all the skins unlocked. I do have championship trash, but that's it. But back to Ashe. Ashe is actually one of my favorite AD carries. It's my second most played AD carry. But usually my main role in League of Legends is playing support. Mostly I also play with friends of school this game, because I do not like to play with people from the internet, because they are pretty bad. Ah yeah, by the way, with your ult you can cancel other ults, because you can stun them, like I just did to Misfortune. But I do not like to play with the internet because, well, everyone knows that League of Legends is one of the worst communities of gaming history. Because every single game you go into, except this ranked, for some reason people say that ranked is a pretty harassive place to go, because people are always complaining, always there raging and flaming on their team. But from my experience of ranked, it's pretty good. I mean, you go into a queue, everyone writes like hi, I'll prefer this, I'll prefer their height. If you go into a normal game, it's like mid, and I want mid, that's it. And they will rage on you though if you do not pick them. Like for instance, our top liner, well, it's Warwick, he called top immediately, although there were 4 players. I mean, on my screen I was first, but there was 4 players that was before him, and he still called top, and he absolutely wanted to play top, and now he's feeding Olaf. Actually, the only good player on the upside team was Orianna and Olaf. Now that Olaf got really fat because of Warwick. I mean, that Warwick was one of the worst Warwicks I ever seen. But ranked, yeah, ranked is pretty fun though. Because everyone is, well, it's nice, not like if you're playing just normal games, but it will not stay like that. I mean, once if you're losing, your team will rage, trust me, because indeed if you lose points, and it stops you from upgrading in another division. But my very favorite AD carry is Corki, because Corki needs a lot of abilities. I am that kind of guy who trusts his abilities. I don't know really how you say it in English, but if you who is I don't know what the word is, but I just like to use abilities. Mostly I play AP carries if I do not play support or AD carry. Like for instance, my favorite AP carry is 6, but also Lux. But Ashe is completely dependent on auto attacks. I mean, your only damage abilities are your Z and your ultimate. Corki, on the other hand, Corki is an absolute beast. I mean, it surprised me how little people play Corki. I mean, Corki is one of the most overpowered AD carries that there are. I mean, it's a kind of phosphor bomb. With that phosphor bomb, that it also grants vision and does damage. Also, its set is a kind of flash on its own, and also does damage in its trails. No, its E is very overpowered. It's kind of spray, and every time all the people that are in front of you that are getting hit by the spray will be damaged massively. Its auto attacks though are very good also. On Corki I recommend to use to just build crit damage. You just need crit and a little bit of attack speed. You do not need health regen. And the difference between Ashe and Corki is that on Ashe you have to stay at the back of the team, like every other AD carry I know. Like for instance, the most difficult AD carry, and I think everyone agrees with me, is Vayne, because Vayne is absolutely even more dependent on its auto attacks than Ashe, because Vayne does not have any damage ability at all. But with Ashe you just need to build a lot of crit. Now if you can play Vayne very good, it's a very dangerous champion. Well, although Vayne is not that good early game, but if she is a little bit fat and she can farm, she is a very dangerous champion late game. But same story with Ashe. With Ashe you have to stay at the back of your team, because you have to find that opportunity when you can shoot at them and also do damage. Because look at that, I just landed my Z and 2 auto attacks and he just lost half of his HP. Now I throw my ultimate here and I was just focusing that Orianna because she's a really pain in the ass. I mean, she killed me 2 times with a well placed ult. But with Ashe you have to stay at the back of your team, don't go in front of the team. With Corki on the other hand is a whole different story. With Corki you're always in front of the team because of your spray. I mean, you do the most damage with your spray. On Corki I also bought at the first item always Trinity Force, because you get a little bit of extra HP, critical hits, mana, attack speed, all the good stuff. So once if you have your Trinity Force done on Corki, you are almost undefeatable. But during this game, by the way, I got a very good support. I mean, Nami did a very good role of playing her support role. Although she could place a little bit of more wards. I mean, it was pretty dark though during the whole game, if you know what I mean. Also queued up with another friend of me, Mr. Numinex. You may know him from videos on my channel also, mostly League of Legends. He also uploads videos. He was the mid laner, he was set, so check him out. I will place a link down in the description to his channel. So that's it, and I'm Phalhell, and I'm out. Bye.